I was standing in the middle of the conference hall, holding a glass of sparkling cider that I absolutely knew, someone had tampered with. Not because I saw them do it, but because the person who handed it to me smiled too wide. You ever get that feeling? Like your instincts are whispering, don't drink that. Something's wrong. Yeah. That moment. That was me, seconds away from raising the glass to my lips, when the room lights dimmed, the projector flickered, and suddenly a video began playing that I had never seen before. Except it featured me. My voice. My face. Words twisted, edited, cut together to make it look like I'd sabotaged the very company I helped build. And right there, as the board members gasped and my coworkers stared at me like I was a traitor, I turned and saw her. Smirking. Triumphant. Like she had finally succeeded in erasing me. Have you ever been betrayed by someone who pretended to mentor you? Have you ever watched your hard work get stolen right out from under you? Drop your story in the comments. Because this story right here, is for anyone who has ever been underestimated, erased, or set up to fail. And trust me, I didn't drink that cider. And I didn't break either. My name is Raina. And this is how I quietly dismantled the woman who tried to destroy my entire career. Intro, who I am. So, hey everyone, Raina here. I'm 32 years old, born and raised in a quiet neighborhood outside Brookhaven. I'm the kind of person who speaks softly, listens more than I talk, and observes everything. People think that means weakness. It doesn't. It means I see what others miss. I worked as a senior data strategist for a mid-sized tech consulting firm named VantageWorks, fictional, of course. I joined right out of college, slowly climbed the ranks, and became known for my calm, steady way of solving problems. I wasn't flashy. I wasn't loud. I wasn't political. I was effective. And unfortunately, effective, quiet people scare those who rely on manipulation. Angry face with horns, toxic person intro, meet Mara Huntley. Enter Mara Huntley. My boss. My mentor. A woman who could charm a room with perfect hair, perfect posture, and perfectly sharpened lies. At first, she acted like she adored me. Raina, you're brilliant. Stick with me and you'll rise fast. Raina, I see myself in you. Raina, let me guide you. For a while, I believed her. Because why wouldn't I? She was polished, respected, and powerful. But behind closed doors, Mara was a storm wrapped in silk. Unpredictable. Controlling. Strategic in the darkest ways. The kind of person who didn't want protégés. She wanted puppets. And I, quiet, observant, unassuming, was her perfect target. At least, she thought so. One Monday morning, after weeks of late-night research and endless spreadsheets, I finally finished a groundbreaking analytics model for a client. It was my proudest work. But when the presentation began, Mara looked straight at the CEO and said, I stayed up all weekend finishing this model. Stayed up all weekend. She hadn't even opened the file before that morning. Everyone applauded her. I sat there, forcing a smile, feeling the sting. Afterward she squeezed my shoulder and whispered. You don't mind, right? You're still young here. You'll get your turn. That was the first crack. Next came the meetings, where she would forget to invite me. Or worse, she would invite me, then deny it. Raina, I told you. It was on your calendar. It wasn't. Maybe you deleted it by mistake. You should be more organized. And everyone believed her because she said it sweetly, with that look of concern like she cared. She didn't. She wanted me off balance, questioning myself. During one team huddle, she held up a document I'd prepared and said, "Who wrote this? It's a mess." Then she turned to the entire team. "Everyone, this is why we need more oversight." The document wasn't a mess. It had passed internal review. But she needed to make me look incompetent so she could justify guiding me. I realized later. Mara never gave direct orders. She created dependence. She started telling others. "Raina's sensitive. Be gentle with her. She gets overwhelmed easily. She means well, but don't overburden her." Suddenly, people were treating me like I was fragile. Like I needed her protection. Isolation doesn't always look like being shut out. Sometimes, it looks like being mislabeled. One evening, as we were leaving the office, she said, "You're talented, Raina. But talent makes enemies. Be careful who you trust." I knew what she meant. She was the enemy. And she was warning me not to cross her. The months blurred together. My ideas presented as hers. My reports corrected into her style. My access restricted. My credibility chipped away piece by piece. My confidence quietly smothered. Until one day I looked in the mirror and barely recognized myself. I wasn't weak. But she was trying to make me believe I was. And then came the moment that shattered everything, the moment that turned this quiet tension into a full-blown war. The night of the Innovation Gala was supposed to be the biggest moment of my career. I had spent months building a predictive platform that could save companies millions in operational costs. Investors were coming. The press was coming. The board was coming. And Mara. She told everyone the project was hers. I still remember stepping into the ballroom, polished floors, gold lighting, the scent of orchids. Everyone was buzzing with the kind of anticipation that comes before a major breakthrough. Then she approached me. Mara. In a navy satin dress, diamonds dripping from her ears, smiling like a queen surveying her subjects. "Raina," she said sweetly, "why don't you relax a little?" She handed me a glass of sparkling cider, a detail I didn't think twice about. Not until she added, "You've been tense." Tense. That should have been the first sign. My instincts prickled. Something was off. The glass felt too cold in my hand, too deliberate. Then the lights dimmed. The murmurs quieted. Everyone shifted toward the stage. A video began playing. At first, it looked like a malfunction, static flickering across the screen. But no. It wasn't static. It was stitching, rough edits pieced together. Then I heard my own voice. Except, not really. Someone had cut up old audio recordings of me from project meetings and spliced them into new sentences. Sentences like, "Disable the security protocols. No one will notice if we reroute funds. We need to hide this breach before the board finds out." I froze. The room erupted in whispers. My heart slammed against my ribs, but I kept my face neutral. I looked left. Right. Everyone was staring at me like I had just confessed to corporate war crimes. Then I looked at Mara. She wasn't shocked. She wasn't confused. She wasn't even pretending. She was smirking. Smirking like she'd been waiting months for this precise moment. Like she had orchestrated every frame, every whisper. She leaned close to the COO beside her and whispered loudly enough for nearby people to hear. I tried to warn her about getting too ambitious. That was it. That was the moment my stomach dropped, and something inside me hardened. Not fear. Not shame. Conviction. Because I suddenly understood. Mara didn't just want to overshadow me. She wanted to erase me. And maybe even replace me completely. I set the untouched drink down. And for the first time in months, I smiled. Because I realized something she didn't. She had just overplayed her hand. And now, she'd given me a trail to follow. Quiet people don't explode. We collect. We remember. We strategize. And oh, I was about to become her worst nightmare. Security escorted me to a side room for questioning. Mara followed, pretending to be supportive. I'm so sorry, Raina. I didn't know you were struggling. Struggling. That word again. Her favorite weapon. She put on an Oscar-worthy performance. Touching her forehead like she was overwhelmed. Acting embarrassed for my sake. Telling security, let's handle this delicately. She's sensitive. Inside, I was silent. Observing. Storing everything. They asked me questions. I answered without emotion. No panic. No shouting. Just facts. And that calmness. It rattled them. Because someone guilty panics. Someone innocent plans. That night, I went home to my small apartment overlooking the old town square. I didn't sleep. Instead, I sat at my table, lit a single lamp, and opened my laptop. I played that edited video frame by frame. Something caught my attention immediately. The lighting in one clip didn't match the room where the original audio had been recorded. The breaths between words weren't natural. There was a faint mechanical echo on the syllables, the kind that comes from splicing sound bites. This wasn't amateur work. This was intentional. Careful. Meticulous. Which meant Mara had help. And help always leaves fingerprints. This wasn't the kind of battle fought with shouting or HR complaints. This was a chess game. A slow, deliberate one. I went into full investigator mode, the kind I never knew I had inside me. VantageWorks used a cloud-based system with a ghost version backup. Most employees didn't know about it. But I did. I restored every audio recording from the past 6 months, every meeting, every phone call, even ones where Mara wasn't present. And guess what? There were gaps. Several recordings were missing entire chunks where my voice now appeared in the fake video. Interesting. At 3:42 a.m., I found what I needed. A log entry. User, M. Huntley. Accessed audio archive. Permissions, override. Time, 2:13 a.m., 3 weeks before the gala. M. Huntley. Mara. Caught. But I needed more. A week earlier, the IT department had rolled out an update. One side effect. It created a hidden cache of files whenever someone exported audio from the internal system. I found 14 audio fragments. All of them were mine. All of them clipped mid-sentence. All of them time-stamped between 1 to 3 a.m. Someone had been working late. Someone had been cutting my voice apart. Someone confident no one would ever know. Remember that sparkling cider? That glass Mara insisted I drink. I reviewed security footage from the gala. And there it was. Mara in the catering prep room. Speaking with a freelance event designer. Handing him something small. Him slipping something into a glass. Her picking up that same glass minutes before the video played. Spiking a drink isn't always about poison. Sometimes it's about making someone look disoriented. Unreliable. Guilty. She wasn't just framing me with the video. She planned to mess with my consciousness to make the video believable. That realization made my hands shake. Not from fear. From clarity. Because now the truth wasn't just obvious, it was provable. Mara kept notebooks. Leather-bound, gold-edged, obsessive. She brought them everywhere. And while looking through the restored digital files, I noticed something peculiar. A phrase she used repeatedly in meetings. "It's all about narrative control." That phrase appeared in a few of her emails too. I searched for it. And I found a draft email she never sent. Titled, "Contingency Plan, if R becomes a threat." I sat back. Read it twice. Her plan was clear. Ruin my credibility. Push me out. Take credit for the predictive platform. Position herself as the visionary leader. But buried in the email were small clues, words she misspelled consistently, a shorthand code she always used, even a color coding system for her targets. I cross-matched the email metadata with her cloud sync. Guess what synced at 4:17 a.m.? A scanned page of one of her notebooks. Accidentally uploaded. On it were sketches of the video timeline, the exact timeline used to build the fake clip. Her handwriting. Her codes. Her structure. Her downfall. At 5:46 a.m., 13 hours after the gala, I found something that made my breath catch. A payment record. From Mara's personal account. To the freelance event designer. The memo line. Consulting, audio enhancement project. Audio enhancement. The kind used in sound splicing. It was a smoking gun with a neon sign on it. But I wasn't done yet. Because revenge isn't just about exposing someone. It's about letting them walk into their own ruin. The plan takes shape. I printed everything. Access logs. Payment receipts. Time-stamped audio fragments. Footage from the gala. Her contingency email. Her notebook scan. Correspondence with the designer. A stack of evidence so tall it could cast its own shadow. And then I added one more thing. A written timeline. Clear. Chronological. Undeniable. I put it all in a sealed envelope, labeled. For the board, only to be opened if Mara initiates disciplinary action against Raina. Then I placed it where I knew it would be found. Not by Mara. By someone much more important. Someone she desperately needed approval from. When I walked back into the building the next morning, the air was tight with gossip. People whispered. Some avoided eye contact. Others looked at me with sympathy I didn't need. Mara's assistant approached me, pale and nervous. "Raina, she wants to see you." "Of course she does." I knocked on her door. She opened it with a smile so fake it could have been printed. "There you are," she said. "Shall we discuss your situation?" Her tone dripped with victory. She thought she'd won. And I let her think that. Because the truth reveal, the moment her world would implode, was only hours away. And it was going to happen in front of the exact audience she cared about most. The board. The investors. The entire leadership team. Just the way she wanted my downfall displayed. Except the downfall wasn't going to be mine. It was going to be hers. Quietly. Elegantly. Irreversibly. 2 days after the gala, the board held an emergency meeting to address the allegations. Mara strutted into that room like it was her coronation. Silk suit. Perfect hair. A binder labeled a Raina evidence packet. She was ready to end me. I walked in quietly, holding nothing but a small notebook and a calm expression. People whispered the moment I entered. The board chair, Mr. Alden, cleared his throat. "Raina, the floor will be yours shortly. But first, Mara has requested to present her findings." Requested. She had insisted. Mara stood, flipping through her binder dramatically. Thank you. This is difficult for me, she began with a faux tremble, because I truly believed in Raina. I mentored her. I protected her. But sometimes, talent becomes unstable under pressure. She clicked a remote. The fake video played again. I watched the board's faces tighten. Some shook their heads. Others lifted brows in disappointment. Then Mara turned to me with a look of polished pity. I want to give Raina the opportunity to explain herself, she said softly. Before we decide her future. She sat down. The room exhaled. Mr. Alden nodded toward me. Raina. I stood slowly. Calm. Centered. Controlled. Thank you, I said. Before I begin, I would like to ask one question. I looked directly at Mara. When did you last access the audio archives? Her eyes flickered. Just for a split second. But I saw it, the first crack. I don't recall, she said. I nodded. I thought you might say that. I slid a single sheet of paper across the table. The board leaned in. It was the access log. M. Huntley, 2:13 a.m., audio archive override. Silence. Then a whisper rippled around the room. Mara's smile faltered. But she recovered quickly. That must be a mistake, she said. I was home that night. I tilted my head. Strange. Because your security badge was used to enter the building at 1:57 a.m. I have that log too. I handed over the second sheet. Another ripple. Her jaw tightened. Raina, enough, she snapped. Anyone could have used your personal login. I interrupted gently. Or your debit card to pay a freelance designer for audio enhancement services 3 days before the gala. I set down a copy of the payment receipt. Her face went pale. The board members leaned forward, their interest sharpening. I continued. I'd also like to present restored audio files from the archive. These were edited into the video you just watched. Each fragment was clipped from unrelated meetings, sometimes mid-sentence. I pressed play. Around the table, heads tilted in confusion. This is chopped up, one board member murmured. Exactly, I said. And here's footage from the gala catering room, showing the freelance designer placing something into a glass, just minutes before Mara handed that same glass to me. Gasps. Mara slammed her hand on the table. This is absurd. I held up one last document. A contingency email, I said softly. Drafted by Mara. Outlining steps to remove me from the project and position herself as lead architect. Mr. Alden read it. His face, usually unreadable, shifted into something sharp and cold. Mara, is this your handwriting? For the first time since I'd known her. She stuttered. I don't know how she got that, she must have hacked, this is manipulated. I let her unravel. Quietly. Patiently. Deliberately. Because the truth doesn't need theatrics. The truth just needs light. And she was burning under it. I have guided this company for years, she hissed. I built this place. Mr. Alden stood. Mara. Enough. She froze. In his calm voice, there was a finality that chilled the room. You abused your authority. You jeopardized the integrity of this organization. You attempted to destroy an employee's career. He closed the folder with a soft click, the sound of a door shutting. You are relieved of your duties effective immediately. Silence. Then chaos. Mara gasping, you can't do this. Her assistant quietly crying. Board members exchanging looks of shock. 2 security personnel stepping forward. I stepped back as she thrashed verbally, spewing accusations at me, the board, the entire company. But no one listened. Because once a mask cracks, people can't unsee the deception. She was escorted out, still screaming. And I remained standing. Calm. Silent. Centered. Exactly the way she had trained me to be. Except now, that quiet belonged to me. Not to her control. Mara didn't go to jail. That was never the goal. But the consequences were far more devastating to someone like her. Heavy checkmark, she lost her position. Her executive title was stripped within hours. Heavy checkmark, she lost credibility. Word spread fast in the industry. No leadership team wanted someone capable of sabotaging their own staff. Heavy checkmark, she lost influence. The people who once treated her like royalty suddenly kept their distance. Heavy checkmark, she lost her narrative. For the first time, she couldn't spin the story. The evidence spoke. Her reputation dissolved. Slowly. Quietly. Irreversibly. And I didn't lift a finger beyond telling the truth. The board asked me to take a paid leave to recover. I accepted. For the first time in years, I slept deeply, not out of exhaustion, but out of peace. I spent days walking by the river, cooking in silence, reading novels, lighting candles in my apartment, rediscovering parts of myself I'd put away. Then something unexpected happened. Mr. Alden called me and said, "Raina, we want you to lead the predictive platform project. Fully. Without interference." I paused. For the first time, I allowed myself to feel pride, not fear, not doubt. Pride. I accepted the role on one condition. I want to build a team that values transparency, and people who are often overlooked. He smiled through the phone. "I think you're exactly the leader we need." And so, I rebuilt. Not out of spite. Out of clarity. Out of freedom. Out of quiet strength. Power isn't always loud. Sometimes it's sitting still. Watching carefully. Speaking only when the truth is ready. And letting the light expose what darkness tries to hide. Mara never expected me to fight back because she mistook silence for weakness. But silence, real silence, is strategy. If you've ever been underestimated, erased, lied about, gaslit, or quietly pushed aside, this story is for you. You don't have to scream to be powerful. You don't have to fight dirty to win. You don't have to match someone's cruelty to reclaim your life. Just be steady. Observe. Collect. Prepare. And when the moment comes, let the truth do the heavy lifting. This is Raina. From Revenge with Raina. Signing off. Drop your own story in the comments. I read them. Truly. And if you've ever been quietly powerful in your own life, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of justice, healing, and taking your power back.